It's the Ed Bernstein Show, Home Edition. Now, here's your host, Ed Bernstein.
Hey, welcome to our show. You ever wonder what's really going on in Mesquite? Well, my guest today is going to enlighten you, Andre Carrier. And a little bit later on the show, Rich Natole, who's a comedian. Isn't he a comedian, talk show host, a radio show, and working on a film? So we'll find out what he's up to. So, Andre, past Mesquite all the time. You know, I'm on my way to Utah or to Arizona.
Sure.
Why should I stop in next time at the Eureka Casino?
Well, you know, that you bring forward a great reason why. The convenience of our location in Mesquite, you know, when you're traveling to and from Las Vegas, has probably been the origins of Mesquite's tale in a way. And it has probably evolved as much, if not more, than other cities in Southern Nevada over the last 20 years. In the last decade, Mesquite was the fastest growing city in America for a period of time. And, you know, in many ways, Mesquite gives the residential qualities that we love in small town America, with all of the attraction and amenities that we love in a resort city like Las Vegas. And the Eureka, you know, kind of what makes it different is probably the intimacy of our environment and the personal nature of the service from our employee owners.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of the line from Cheers where everybody knows your name type of thing. Yeah. So
there's certainly some of that for sure.
What is the population of Mesquite?
So Mesquite probably full-time population is right around 21,000, and then seasonal population probably puts us closer to 28 to 30,000. And that's not unlike Las Vegas. It's just more evident in a city like Mesquite, where we have seasonal residents from Utah, from Montana, Wyoming, Oregon, and Chicago. You know, anywhere people are trying to escape some of the winter and get on the golf course. You know, Mesquite in a lot of ways is Nevada's Palm Springs. You know, there's more golf courses in Mesquite within 5 minutes of your door than probably any other city in the Southwest. And it's that convenience and that access to golf and sunny days that has made Mesquite such an attraction in the West.
And I would suspect that it's kind of similar to maybe Las Vegas 50 years ago, or, you know, with what it offers, you know.
There's no doubt. I mean, I think, you know, there's a hot, I'm asked all the time as a guy from South Boston, you know, what's it been like, you know, living in Las Vegas? And I've always said, you know, it's a very easy place to live. You know, Las Vegas, in a lot of ways, in comparison to having to shovel snow in Michigan or Montana, and worry about what the drive to work is going to be like in Chicago or New York, it's really convenient. Mesquite offers that in excess. You know, it's a very easy way and place to live, and it's real resort living. And that's why the residential growth in Mesquite has been so dynamic. And that's why our visitation is based on that resort living, that golf resort living. And frankly, it's one of the ways that Mesquite's been able to fare so well during the pandemic and in its recovery. Is our tourism is predominantly drive-in, and the motivation for a lot of our drive-in tourism is golf. So something you could do outside, something that was considered to be a safe activity during the pandemic. And, you know, Mesquite's been doing it well and delivering a great product for a lot of years. And frankly, it was really good to have that favorable reputation over this last difficult year.
Andre, you have a very distinguished gaming background. I mean, you went to Cornell University. I mean, look, at Cornell and UNLV, I guess, are neck and neck as the two best universities in the world for hotel and hospitality. You worked at the Sahara for a number of years. You worked at the Nugget for Steve Wynn, and you know, you have this expertise and experience. What motivated you to go up to Mesquite? I mean, how did they get you?
Yeah, mine is a story of friendship, and mine is a story of a shared vision with my lifelong friend Greg Lee, whose family owned the Eureka and developed the property here in Mesquite. And mine is a story about another way. During my years at Golden Nugget, I think at one point we had sold the Golden Nugget 3 times in 4 years. And that's a lot of transition, and that is the life of a professional manager. And there's many of them, but I'm a family office kid. I grew up in a family business. My mom and dad ran all kinds of different businesses, and I never saw myself really working as a professional employee, frankly, as long as I did. I'm thankful for it. Got to work with wonderful people at Mirage Resorts and at MGM. And, I learned from each of them, and I value it. And at Landry's when they bought the Golden Nugget. But mine was always going to be a journey of being an entrepreneur. And Greg and I, as friends, were able to kind of have conversations over the years, contemplating whether friends can work together and whether that was a good idea. And we really did. In a longer conversation someday, we'll tell the story about trying to frame it so that we would always stay friends, but could we bring out the best in one another working together? And, I think we're really thankful that after more than a decade, I hope we've done just that. We had a vision of ultimately someday maybe innovating, and by being the only 100% employee-owned casino resort company in the United States, I think we've done that. We had a vision for building community. Our core values say that what we do each day is serve our guests, community, and one another with care, compassion, and dedication. And in the last year, that's meant more than ever. And we sponsored an innovation prize. The family obviously has endowed the business school at UNLV, the Lee School of Business. And
very generous. I mean, the Lee family's been very generous over there.
Without question. And that innovation prize of $1 million while we were all in quarantine, we worked hard to bring forward ideas and entrepreneurs who could help us find the way forward. And we hope we contributed to that. Our service also led to us building a vaccination center in our Rising Star Resort here in Mesquite. And it's the opportunity to do things a bit differently has probably guided my path that I'm very thankful for.
Andre, can you talk a little bit about what does that mean, an employee-owned casino resort? How does that actually work?
It's a great question. I'm thankful for it. So, long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, the IRS actually had a divine idea, and that was the idea of creating a long-term retirement benefit for employees by creating a construct for employee ownership. And so ESOPs, as they're called, employee stock ownership plan, are companies that are owned 100% by the employees, and they each year distribute shares to the employees for the exclusive purpose of their retirement, their long-term retirement. And so over the years of working with the company, they're issued shares. If they do good work with the company, those shares increase in value. And when they retire, they sell those shares back to the company for the purposes of funding their retirement. And ESOPs have been around for many years, since the 1970s, but there are very few in the gaming industry. And in fact, by few, there's one, and that's us. And
so how many bosses do you have?
That's good. That's a great point. So we have about 650 at current count here and in our other property in New Hampshire.
And this is a way, I mean, look, it makes sense to me. You have a chance to really have something more valuable than a 401k as an employee or a profit sharing plan. And you're actually getting stock and ownership, and you can watch it increase as you do a good job over there. Let's talk a little bit about Mesquite. What percentage, what is the difference demographics of your customer? You have people, I assume, come from Las Vegas. You have people, obviously, that come from Utah or Arizona. Is that basically the three destinations?
So, for our drive-in market, that's going to represent, good, probably close to 60%. What happens after that is somewhat surprising. I think people are surprised to understand how much of Mesquite visitation comes from California. These are people who discovered Mesquite maybe on their way up to ski at Park City or their way to the national parks over the years. And then it probably goes to some of the big northwestern states, Oregon, Washington being among the primary, Wyoming, Montana, but clearly Colorado is a big importer to Mesquite. So these are all places where it's cold in the winter. You want to be able to drive to where you're going, and you want to get warm. And if you got in your car from Denver and you started driving south, turns out the freeway system in America is going to deliver you to St. George and then Mesquite. And you're going to get out of your car and you're going to find out it's quite a bit warmer and it's real sunny, and you're going to look around at the green golf course and say, this is a pretty nice place. And so traditions develop that way. And that's the primary makeup of visitation to Mesquite. And ultimately, those people who started as visitors become residents. And that's also the population of Mesquite. Now, golf gives us the visitation from the other big urban areas where you can't play in the winter. Chicago, New York, Boston, probably chief among them, and a lot from Minnesota as well.
And I would suspect that it's a little bit more affordable to play in Mesquite than it is to play in Vegas.
I think that's, look, we love to keep our value proposition in Mesquite, and we do have affordable golf. We also have one of the best desert golf courses in America with Wolf Creek.
Yeah, I wasn't minimizing the quality at all.
Just that is, having a golf course like Wolf Creek means that it's on a lot of people's bucket lists. A lot of people want to come up and make sure they've gotten that desert course in. Conestoga, which was built in the last decade, is also a world-class course. So what's great about Mesquite is the variety of golf in the convenience of it in a short period of distance from your house or your hotel room. It's really unlike any other city in America.
I got to admit to you that I went into your website and I was looking at the rooms, and I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of the accommodations that you have at your hotel. I mean, they're first rate.
Look, I love your honesty there. It's really helpful because I do think that being in Las Vegas, right, you tend to see things through a certain lens. And some of that lens is, the way we consume media and the way we consume commercials. And so we formed kind of a vision that Mesquite is just a value destination. And it is, but it's not that exclusively. My dad early on in my life, God bless him, I was thankful. He knew I always wanted to be a restaurant guy, and I was always going to be in the hotel business. And he taught me one lesson. He said, Andre, he said, anything you ever do from your first restaurant, and I was young when he let me have my first restaurant, he said, make sure that everybody has a place where they can be comfortable when they come as they are, and be respectful of everybody else when they come as they are. So the Eureka is a place where if you're in your golf shirt and your shorts, but you want to eat in the fine dining room in Gregory's, there's a place for you. But if you want to celebrate your 25th wedding anniversary with your kids and come in a tie and a blazer, there's a place for you. And everybody feels like it's their place, and everybody feels special. And if we've done it right, those four guys in the golf shirts and shorts are going to buy a round of drinks or desserts for the couple celebrating their anniversary. And that's what makes the Eureka different, is trying to be attentive to that every day.
How did you get through the COVID pandemic, and what are you looking forward to as things seem to be returning?
Yeah,
a little bit more normal.
We absolutely got through it, Ed, by staying on mission, by being purposeful. Our first priority was the care of our people, our employee owners. And you'll find this funny probably, but we tried to develop mastery of a drive-through food pantry. So every week we would distribute food on property to our employees. And every week we tried to get better at it. We tried to improve the offering. We tried to improve our speed, efficiency, and effectiveness. And we tried to be mindful. I kind of called it like Santa's workshop. What would a new casino floor look like in the post-pandemic era? And we use science and engineering to rework our entire casino floor so that when our employees came to work, they could feel confident that we had created the best ecosystem, that our employee owners came back, that this was the ecosystem where I could be safe. And our customers came back and they felt that we had done the same. And then we set out to make our contribution to our community, and we started the Lee School Prize for Innovation. And I honestly think we were busier when we were closed than I've been at any point in my working life. And I'm a back of house kitchen guy, so that's a lot to say.
Well, you've done some incredible work out there, and next time for sure, on my way out to that direction, I'm heading to Eureka, and I'm going to stop in and take a little tour with you.
I'm going to hold you to that. I'd love nothing more.
One more thing, because I started this conversation when I met you, asking you the pronunciation of your last name, because I am a big hockey fan, and we have an incredible hockey player named William Carrier. That's one of our players. You have the same last name. You pronounce it more in the English, the American way of Carrier, but you did say it the correct French way. Let me hear you say that one more time.
Il s'appelle André Jean Carrier.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much, André, and good luck over at the Eureka.
Thanks so much for the time and the fun conversation. All the very best to you.
Thank you.
My daughter Dana fought a long battle with Crohn's disease before passing last year.
It's our goal to help the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation find a cure for this horrible disease.
Join Max and I in scoring our goal to find a cure.
Hey, we're back with my buddy, Rich Natole. How are you,
How
Rich?
are you?
Good. One of the funniest guys I know.
Oh, such a compliment. Thank you.
Also, I should say, host of Vegas Voice, right?
The Vegas Voice radio show, yeah, 1400 AM.
1400 AM. When I finish listening to the hockey game, I'll switch over back and forth,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've been getting some great guests on there. I do a lot of call-ins, with celebrities from LA and New York, as well as the local talent here. But we're getting bigger with the bigger stars, and so I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's actually, it's kind of easier to get guests, just kind of like the way we're doing our Zoom. I mean, you can do that, it's easy on radio as well. You don't have to be in the studio. You don't have to worry about somebody getting there in person, and people are much more available because they're home.
Yeah. And everybody's been in seclusion for a year, so they're used to doing everything from their desk. So it's getting pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, look, in addition to your talk show, radio show, in addition to your stand-up and your comedy career, you're working on a movie now. Sounds quite interesting. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's a film called Faith Wins, And the interesting thing about this story, Ed, which I'm mentioning on the air that I didn't mention to you earlier, is that it actually, the concept of the movie was told to me in a dream. And it was one of those dreams where I actually got up after I had this dream at 3:00 in the morning. And it was so real. I mean, even the title of the movie, that I wrote down the story the way the person who I don't even know who it was in the dream was telling me to write the story. So I wrote the entire story out like 3:00 in the morning, went back to bed, got up the next morning, thought, was that like a dream? Because it seems so real. I go to my desk, there's the whole story. And it's a story about an entertainer, a comedy performer in Las Vegas who is on the top of his game, and he never had any faith in his life. It's a faith-based movie, a Christian film. Never had faith in his life, no belief in God, none of that. But yet he was on top for most of his career, and he loses everything through some tragedies and some turns, and he becomes homeless on the streets of Vegas. And this whole journey takes the audience through a riches to rags, kind of back to riches and finding faith story. And it's a beautiful story. And it's going to show that how, anybody can end up really homeless on the streets of Vegas. And we all know that, Vegas has a big problem with that as well as the country. So I've partnered with Hope Church, my church, and they have a ministry called The Hub, and their website is thehublv.com. So thehublv.com, the Hub is giving programs to help get people off the street and to minister them and get them on the right track with their life. So we're going to donate a lot of money to them beyond the production cost of our movie. We're going to donate to them to help the Hub.
And you're doing a GoFundMe as well for the production of the movie?
Yes, sir. We're doing live shows all over the country in different theaters and churches. And then we're doing GoFundMe. If you just go to GoFundMe and put in Faith Wins, which is the title, Faith Wins is the title of the movie, then you can donate. People can donate $5, $10, whatever, to help the production costs. And it's a low budget film, so we don't need a whole lot of money. And beyond the production costs, we will donate to the Hub to help the homeless and people getting off the street. They also help sexually abused people, to help them get their life back on track. So it's a really good, the church is doing a wonderful thing with the Hub, and it's Hope Church, and we're real excited about working with them.
Yeah, well, it's very much an uplifting story, which is so different than what you're seeing in films and streaming today. I mean, it's you put on streaming, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of I don't know, maybe it's the COVID, maybe it's the negativity that's going around our country and around the world. But it's nice to have an uplifting feeling after you watch a film like what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. It's it really just takes you through a whole journey, and it's back to basics. With a movie that there's no fancy special effects and all that. It's a simple movie about relationships and about people and about how you can find your way when you lose your way. And we entered it in a few faith-based screenplay festivals, Ed, and the first one that read it put us into the finals. So we're in the finals already in one of the faith-based screenplay festivals, and the other ones won't read it till August because their deadlines are not till the end of August. But we're real excited about maybe winning one of those, and it will help us with promotion.
Yeah, so when you win one of those, I mean, so you have access to not only YouTube, I suspect, and film festivals, but I guess the churches as well would show the film and have special showings and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's the goal. And we partnered with a wonderful producer director. His name is John Michael Hightower out of Atlanta, and John Michael has done like 5 faith-based movies, and they're releasing one pretty soon called Hope Again, his latest one, and then they'll be doing mine in January. And he's great. He went to film school. This guy knows how to make a movie totally professionally on a shoestring budget and just get it done. and just on the bare bones of what you need for the movie, and to do it all professionally and to do it all right. And he's just really, really good. So we're excited about working with him, and he's going to just be wonderful as a director.
Yeah, you looking forward to entertainment coming back to Vegas?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. I do comedy in the Elvis show at Planet Hollywood on Monday nights in the V Theater there. I work every Monday night in there. And we had a packed house the other night. It was so nice to see people. People are just starved to get back and see entertainment. And I just, the entertainers, as everybody, we've all been through the ringer in the last year, but it's just so nice that it's all springing back, and it's going to be great. I think the next year is just going to springboard everybody back into the mainstream, which is going to be terrific.
Do you have any new impressions?
Well, I was watching Fauci the other day, because you should wear a mask, Ed. Wear 5 masks, wear 10 masks. Whatever you do, wear a mask, Ed. I don't care where you are. Wear the mask. So it's so fun. It's so funny. I think some of the greatest characters are in politics now. With these, Biden going, "Come on, man, pay your fair share. Pay your fair. Come on, man."
You know what? He almost is doing impressions of himself. I mean, when they cut away, he talks about, does these stories about growing up. I mean, it's almost like a self impersonation. Anyway, what time is your radio show?
Radio show is on Thursdays from we go live at 10:05 a.m. until 11 a.m. So 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Thursday on 1400 AM, or they could go to kshp.com and hit the listen live button and watch there. And I should mention all the shows get archived on thevegasvoice.net. So if they go to thevegasvoice.net, you can see photos and click on any of the shows that we've done, and you can listen to any of the shows archived for there.
And Rich has had some wonderful guests, so it would be worth your time to go in there and try to dig up some of these archive shows. Anyway, viewers, check him out. Not only Rich, but check out his GoFundMe also. This is a worthwhile project. Faith wins. Much success with it, Rich.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, GoFundMe and then Faith wins. Thank you so much, Ed. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, buddy. Good to see you, Rich.
Take care.
Rich Natole.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye.